Jumping rope or running, which one is better? Running versus jump rope. This is a topic that I receive questions about all the time. In fact, I received a question about it yesterday, so as I was hiking here today, I was thinking about this topic, and it's a topic that I've talked about before in a previous video, but today I want to share some more thoughts. Jumping rope or running, which one is better? Better for what? Usually the activity that you enjoy doing, the one that you will do consistently, is the better choice. If you enjoy something, you're more likely to want to do it. Maybe you don't even enjoy the activity so much, but you enjoy how it makes you feel. In a previous video, I suggested that the two activities can be complementary. Why does it have to be jumping rope, or running? Why can't it be both? A lot of people say they want to jump rope and they want to have the fitness of a boxer, like Floyd Mayweather, for example, Manny Pacquiao, Gennady Golovkin. A lot of people say they want to be fit and they want to be able to jump rope like these pro boxers. Pro boxers, they don't limit themselves to one form of cardio. Boxers will run and jump rope. They will jump rope and run. A lot of boxers do a lot more running than they do jump rope. They also incorporate other forms of cardio. Running or cycling, for example, swimming. Just this morning before I left the house to go on this hike, I watched a preview show for the trilogy fight with Conor McGregor and Dustin Poirier this weekend. Dustin Poirier was seen jumping rope. Conor McGregor was seen cycling. So fighters and other athletes, they don't limit themselves to one form of cardio. The soccer player Cristiano Ronaldo, for example, he does so many different forms of cardio in addition to running, in addition to his training for soccer. He actually likes jumping rope. He does a lot of jump rope. So I don't think it has to be one or the other. Jumping rope, it involves a different movement pattern. It engages different muscles, for example, than running. When we jump rope, the movement, the activity is up and down. Whereas with running, we're propelling our body forwards. So we engage different muscles. I'm going to share a story that might be very illuminating of this idea that the two activities, running and jumping rope, can be complementary in just a minute. But I want to just share something else while I'm thinking about soccer players. I have a lot of friends, and when I was younger I played soccer. I loved soccer, but a lot of friends said they hated running. I know people who love basketball, they love rugby, but they hate running, which it's kind of sounds a little bit ironic because those sports, they involve a lot of running. I know what they mean though when they say they hate running. But so a lot of people have a dislike of running, yet they love playing sports, they love watching sports, and running is a huge part of those sports. People love the sensation of sprinting, going on a quick dash, stopping, changing direction. So there's a kind of an inherent like of running. But oftentimes when people say they don't like running, it's because one, they find it hard, and two, they're referring maybe specifically to going on long runs like jogs, long distance running, cross country. When I was a kid, I played a lot of sports. A lot of those sports involved running, and I didn't particularly like when our teams had to go for jogs. And I also ran myself for additional running practice. I definitely realized that running provided a lot of cardiovascular benefits that I couldn't get from other forms of exercise, and I'll come back to that in a minute in connection with jump rope. So one thing, when I used to go for runs, I didn't necessarily enjoy running at the beginning. I found the first 10, 15, 20 minutes particularly hard, and that's often the case with cardio. You know, for example, we're going from maybe a stationary position, and then all of a sudden we want to go for a jog. We find ourselves maybe breathing heavily, or maybe our body feels stiff, even heavy. Our muscles might even kind of cramp a little bit. It takes time for our bodies to warm up, to change energy systems, to get the blood and oxygen flowing around our bodies. It takes time for our breathing to kind of slow down. So a lot of people say they hate running. but maybe they don't do it long enough. Maybe they give up after 10, 15, 20 minutes, but if you just keep with it, maybe go for a run, maybe stop, incorporate some walking and continue. Once your body's warmed up and once your breathing has slowed down, you might really find that you enjoy it. I know a lot of people, they really dislike running, going for long runs, but they do it. They love how they feel afterwards. So they may not necessarily enjoy running, but they like how they feel after. They talk about the runner's high, and I definitely can relate to that. When I run, when I jump rope, I feel fantastic afterwards. When I jump rope, I feel fantastic during jumping rope. I find it extremely fun. And you can try all different tricks. Running, I've come to really enjoy running too. I find I get great mental clarity when I go for runs. I might not necessarily enjoy the runs at the beginning, but once I've warmed up, once I kind of settled into the run, I feel really good. I get a kind of nice sense of calm, and my mind feels very sharp. And then after the run, I feel extremely good. So the story I wanted to share about running, and another reason why I think it can complement jumping rope, in addition to the fact that both activities, they involve different muscles, different parts of muscles, there are different movement patterns. So for example, if I have certain pains in my legs from running, those injuries, they might not make me want to run. They might make running kind of be a little bit painful, yet I can still jump rope. So it doesn't have to be one or the other. I might not be able to do one form of cardio or one form of exercise, but I can still do another. A couple of years ago, during the month of November, I took part in a physical activity challenge with some family members. You know, in November, a lot of people, they like doing challenges for maybe charity. For example, Movember, people grow mustaches. So that was a couple of years ago. Before then, I hadn't really ran in quite some time. I used to, play sports. I played rugby up, in college just before that. But for a good few years, I hadn't actually gone jogging. So during this month of November, the challenge involved running 2 miles every day. And during those runs, I often wanted to give up. I really didn't enjoy the runs. But towards the end of the 2 miles, I started to really enjoy the activity because my breathing started to slow down. And then after the run, I started feeling really good. So I kind of looked forward to going on the runs. But at the same time, I didn't really enjoy the beginning, the first 5, 10, 15 minutes of the runs. And also because my technique was poor, my running technique was poor at the time, I often experienced some nagging pains in my legs. During that month of November, anyways, I didn't do any jump rope. I decided, okay, I'm going to do this challenge. I'm going to focus on this challenge. And because I was experiencing a little bit of pain from running, I didn't want to do any other intense cardio. I did some walking, stuff like that, but no jump rope. After this challenge, I took a week off from any intense physical activity. And then I went back to jumping rope. And here's what happened, something very interesting. Before that November challenge, I got to kind of a sticking point, a bit of a plateau in terms of doing double unders. I was able to do 200 in a row using just a normal PVC jump rope. But then after the November challenge, I jumped rope one day and I was able to do 300 double unders in a row, even though I hadn't jumped rope in over a month. So what changed? Perhaps all the running improved certain aspects of my cardiovascular fitness. Perhaps it improved some parts of my body's muscles. So I noticed I was able to go from 200 to 300 double unders, and I hadn't done any jump rope, but I did do a lot of running. During that month of November, I also became familiar with David Goggins. And if you know David Goggins, he's a huge proponent. He always talks about building mental toughness. So I listened to a lot of interviews with David Goggins. And then when I went to jump rope, when I was doing double unders that day, I was putting into practice some of the things I had learned from Goggins. For example, just trying to do a little bit more. When I got to 200 double unders, as I was approaching 200 double unders, I said to myself, just do 5 more. Once I did 5, do another 5, and so on and so forth. Also during the month of November when I was going on those runs, many days, as I was saying, I didn't want to run. I didn't enjoy the beginning of the running especially, and also it was November, it was cold, I was quite busy, but I committed to the challenge, so I did the runs. Doing so built mental endurance, so I was able to bring that from the running to the jump rope afterwards, to the double unders when I went back to doing them. So I noticed myself huge benefits from running, not only from a mental standpoint, but from a physical standpoint. And I still run. After that November challenge, I continued with running. I did a lot of running events. During an interview, when I heard David Goggins talk with Joe Rogan, I signed up for a marathon right afterwards, and I've done a few marathons since, even ultra marathons. So although I have kind of a love-hate relationship with running. I love how it makes me feel. I love how I feel, you know, after I've warmed up, but oftentimes at the beginning of runs, it can be quite challenging. But I don't limit myself to running. It's not running or jump rope. I do both, and I also do other forms of cardio. I won't limit myself to one form of cardio. I get so much pleasure and enjoyment from different forms of cardio. So I don't think it has to be this idea of jump rope or running. Why not do both if you are so inclined? Some people love running, so we can't slight them. We can't slight them for enjoying running. We don't have to kind of look at running versus jump rope antagonistically. They can be complementary. The activities are different. We can get benefits in terms of from a physical standpoint from both activities, and they can both be enjoyable. So essentially for this video, I want to not suggest that you limit yourself to one form of cardio. If you enjoy jumping rope, that's absolutely fantastic. You don't have to run, but it doesn't have to be one or the other. They can both be phenomenal activities. The activity that you enjoy doing, the one that you're going to do consistently, is often a better choice. But we can get benefits from incorporating different forms of cardio into our workouts, into our lives. Okay, so I got to duck under a sign here. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this video. See y'all again soon, hopefully. Oh yeah, just one more thing. Speaking of running, speaking of even walking, I'm wearing Nike Air Zoom Pegasus 36 trail run shoes. I've had these for quite some time, and I've covered, I'd say over 1,000 kilometers in these shoes. I absolutely love them. Interestingly, speaking about boxing before, recently Gervonta Tank Davis, he fought Mario Barrios, and in some of the shows leading up to their fight, Gervonta Davis was seen wearing, or he wore the latest edition of these Nike Air Zoom Pegasus trail shoes in the gym, and also when he was on his runs. I made a review video on these shoes. I absolutely love them. They're holding up extremely well. I'll provide a link down below to that video. I absolutely love these shoes. As I said, they're holding up extremely well. They're extremely durable, yet they're extremely light. So I highly encourage you to check out that video. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.